Success tastes like expensive airport coffee and vanilla lip gloss. The contract I just closed is worth more than Jake will make in 2 years, and I'm riding high with my presentation deck still hot in my laptop bag. As the taxi navigates the evening traffic, I rehearse various approaches to inform him about the campaign. Perhaps he will genuinely grin this time. My phone is buzzing. According to Rachel's text, "Boss lady, you nailed it. Drinks tomorrow." I quickly type, "Hell yes," back, and stuff the phone into my purse. The house appears, with the exception of the bedroom window, which is dark. Odd. Even if Jake's car is in the driveway, he typically keeps all of the lights on, as if he were indicating an airplane. He also promised to mend the creaking front door months ago. "I'm coming home early, Jake. I have some incredible news." Silence answers. Then, shuffling upstairs, my heels click against the hardwood as I climb the stairs, each step matching my heartbeat. The bedroom door is ajar, spilling yellow light into the hallway. I push it open. Jake stands by our bed, my clothes scattered across it like fallen leaves. An open suitcase sits in the middle of the chaos. "What are you doing?" My voice comes out smaller than I intended. He doesn't turn around, just keeps folding my favorite blazer with mechanical precision. "What does it look like?" "It looks like you're packing my things without asking me first." I step closer and grab the blazer from his hands. "Stop that. Talk to me." Finally, he faces me. His eyes are red-rimmed, but his voice is steady. "I can't do this anymore, Kiara. Pretending we're equals when we both know you've left me in the dust." "What are you talking about? I just closed the biggest deal of my career, and instead of celebrating with me, you're—" "What, throwing me out?" "See, that's exactly it," he laughs. "But it sounds wrong, like breaking glass. Every conversation circles back to your career, your success, your achievements. When's the last time you asked about my day, my promotion that I didn't get again?" I reach for his arm, but he steps back. "Jake, I don't." He holds up a hand. "Just don't. You know what Derek said to me yesterday? He said, 'Man, your wife's killing it. Not us. Not you and me. Just you. Do you have any idea how that feels?'" The room spins slightly. I grab the bedpost to steady myself. My knuckles whiten against the dark wood. "So this is about your ego, because I'm successful." "This is about respect." He slams the suitcase shut, making me jump. "About being able to look my friends in the eye without wondering if they're pitying me. About not feeling like a failure in my own home." "I never made you feel that way. You didn't have to." His voice drops to a whisper. "Your existence does it for you." The words hit like a physical blow. I sink onto the edge of the bed, crushing something underneath me. Pulling it out, I recognize the pregnancy test I took this morning. Positive. The one I was going to surprise him with after sharing my promotion news. Jake follows my gaze, sees what I'm holding. For a moment, his face crumbles, then hardens again, like cement setting. "Perfect timing," he says, each word dripping with venom. "Now you can be the breadwinner and the mother, the complete package. Who needs me at all?" I stand up, my legs shaking but my voice steady. "You're right. Who needs you?" The test falls from my hand, clattering on the floor between us like a gauntlet thrown. Neither of us moves to pick it up. "I'll be at my mother's," I say, grabbing my purse. "Send my things there. And Jake, congratulations. You just made the biggest mistake of your life." I walk out, leaving him standing in a graveyard of designer suits and shattered dreams. My hands don't shake until I'm in the taxi, watching our house disappear in the rearview mirror. Only then do I allow myself to smile, thinking about all the ways I'm going to make him regret this moment. 3 months into the pregnancy, and my mother's guest room feels more like home than the house Jake and I built together. The morning sickness has finally eased, leaving room for a different kind of nausea, the kind that comes from watching your husband pretend everything's fine on social media while he's busy erasing you from his life. He posted another photo with Derek at that new steakhouse. Rachel says, scrolling through her phone during our lunch break. Caption reads, "Living my best life." What a piece of work. I stab at my salad, imagining each cherry tomato is Jake's inflated ego. Let him play happy bachelor. We both know he's dying inside. Speaking of dying, Rachel lowers her voice. The board approved your proposal for the Asian market expansion. Jake's company was counting on that contract. The lettuce suddenly tastes sweeter. You're sure? 100%. Derek let it slip to marketing that Jake's team had already started hiring people for the project. Now they'll have to let them go. My hand instinctively moves to my growing belly. The baby kicks as if approving my silent satisfaction. The elevator dings, and I spot Linda from HR heading our way. She's wearing that expression that means trouble, the one that makes her look like she's sucking on a lemon. Kiara, do you have a moment? Her voice carries across the break room. It's about your maternity leave paperwork. In her office, Linda slides a form across her desk. Jake called. He's requesting to be removed as your emergency contact and insurance beneficiary. The paper blurs before my eyes. He what? I know this is delicate, but given your situation, we need to update your file. She hesitates. He mentioned you might be leaving the company soon. My laugh comes out sharp enough to cut glass. Did he now? He seemed quite certain about it. Said you discussed focusing on family full-time. I lean forward, both hands flat on her desk. Linda, let me be crystal clear. The only thing I'm leaving is my marriage. This company, my career, that's not negotiable. That evening, I find my mother in her garden, attacking weeds with the same intensity I'd shown that salad. She looks up when my shadow falls across her work. Jake called here too, she says, not bothering with a hello. Wanted to know if you come to your senses yet. I told him the only sense you've come to is the good kind. She sits back on her heels, studying my face. He's scared, you know. Men like that, when they lose control, they lash out, try to take whatever power they can grab. Exactly. She pulls off her gardening gloves. Which is why you need to be smarter, stronger, more calculated than he is. My phone buzzes, a text from Jake. We need to talk about the house and the baby. Stop avoiding me. I'm not avoiding anything. I mutter, typing back. Lawyer. Everything goes through the lawyer. He's at the door, my mother says suddenly, peering through the kitchen window. Speaking of avoiding, I hear his knock, then his voice. Kiara, I know you're in there. We have to discuss this like adults. My mother moves to answer, but I catch her arm. No, let him stand there. Let him feel what it's like to be shut out. We sit in the darkened kitchen, listening to his increasingly aggressive knocks. Finally, his voice cracks. Please, I made a mistake. I can't stand feeling this way. The baby kicks again, harder this time. I press my hand against the spot, remembering how he couldn't even look at the pregnancy test that night. That's the thing about mistakes. Jake, I whisper, though he can't hear me through the door. They have consequences. His footsteps eventually fade. My mother switches on the light, her face a mix of pride and concern. "You're not just protecting yourself anymore," she says, nodding at my belly. "No, I agree. Already planning my next move. I'm protecting both of us, and I'm going to make sure he never forgets that." Through the window, I watch his car disappear into the darkness, knowing tomorrow will bring another battle. But this time, I'm ready. This time, I'm not the one who ends up losing everything. The coffee shop across from Jake's office wasn't my usual scene, but it offered the perfect vantage point. I'd been sitting here for an hour, watching Derek's familiar figure pace outside, phone pressed to his ear. The conversation seemed heated, even from this distance. My own phone buzzed. Rachel's daily check-in. "You sure about this? Spying isn't exactly your style." I typed back, "Not spying, gathering intelligence." The baby shifted restlessly, as if sensing my tension. At 6 months, she was becoming quite the accomplice in my surveillance missions. I rubbed my belly, whispering, "Just a little longer, sweetheart." Derek finally ended his call and headed inside. I pulled my baseball cap lower, angling my laptop screen to hide my face. He ordered, then slumped into a booth behind me. "Jake, man, you need to get it together." Another call. The board's asking questions about the project delays. "Yeah, I know it's her fault, but you can't keep telling people she sabotaged it. It looks desperate." My fingers tightened around my cup. Sabotage. That was new. "Listen," Derek continued, his voice dropping. "People are starting to talk. They're saying you're obsessed, that you're letting your personal stuff affect your judgment. The Asian market deal wasn't her fault. We lost it fair and square." A pause. "No, I'm not taking her side. I'm trying to save your ass before you get fired. You really think telling everyone your pregnant wife stole your clients is a good look?" My hand shook as I reached for my phone, opening the voice recorder app. This was better than I'd hoped. "The drinking has to stop too," Derek added. "Coming to work hungover, missing meetings. Jesus, Jake, you're doing her work for her. She doesn't need revenge when you're self-destructing this spectacularly." I almost felt sorry for Derek. Almost. But he'd enabled Jake's behavior for months, playing the sympathetic friend while watching him spiral. The chair behind me scraped as Derek stood. "Fine. Don't listen. But when everything falls apart, remember I warned you." I waited until he left before gathering my things. Outside, the autumn air carried the scent of wood smoke and possibilities. My lawyer would be very interested in this recording. Back at my mother's, I found her in the kitchen with an unexpected visitor. Rachel. She sat at the counter, clutching a manila envelope. "What's wrong?" I asked, noting their expressions. Rachel slid the envelope toward me. "HR forwarded this to my desk by mistake," she said. "It's an email chain between Jake and your company's biggest competitors. He's been trying to warn them away from working with you." My hands trembled as I read. Phrases jumped out. Unstable behavior, professional concerns, liability risks. Each word was carefully chosen to cast doubt, to poison potential clients against me without making direct accusations. "He's trying to destroy my career," I whispered, all while playing the victim at his own company. My mother's face hardened. "He's trying to make you dependent, vulnerable, classic abuser tactics." "No," I said, straightening. "He's giving me exactly what I need. Proof." I pulled out my phone and played Derek's recorded conversation. Rachel's eyes widened. "Holly," she breathed. "With this and the emails, we can prove harassment." I finished, professional sabotage. And when the baby comes, he won't have a leg to stand on. My mother concluded, fierce pride in her voice, "You've got him right where you want him." My phone lit up with Jake's number. "For the first time in weeks," I answered. "Missing me?" I kept my voice honey sweet. "Kiara, please." He sounded desperate. "I need you to call off whatever you're doing. My job. Everything's falling apart." Funny how that happens when you try to destroy someone else's life. I never. Save it for the lawyers, Jake. And maybe next time, don't put your sabotage attempts in writing. The silence on his end was deafening. Finally, he whispered, "You knew." "I know everything." I ended the call, feeling the baby kick approvingly. And this is just the beginning. Rachel and my mother exchanged looks. They knew that tone, the one that meant I wasn't just fighting back anymore. I was going for the kill. The pregnancy books never mentioned how revenge could make morning sickness worse. 7 months along, and I'm bent over my mother's toilet, heaving up bile and regret after reading Jake's latest email to my clients. Each word, a carefully crafted poison designed to make me look unstable, unreliable, unworthy of their trust. My phone vibrates against the tile floor. Rachel's text. "Board meeting in 30. They're discussing your accounts. Jake's brother-in-law is making waves." Of course, I'd forgotten about Michael on the board. Family loyalty runs deep, especially when there's money involved. The doorbell rings. As I rinse my mouth, I spot Derek's car in the driveway. My mother's voice drifts up the stairs, polite but steel-edged. She's not receiving visitors. "Please, 5 minutes. It's about Jake." I crack the door open, catching their conversation. He's drinking at work now, keeping a bottle in his desk. Yesterday, he screamed at an intern until she cried, all because she mentioned Kiara's marketing campaign. "That sounds like Jake's problem," my mother says. "He's going to lose everything. The company's building a case for termination." I thought maybe if Kiara talked to him. Derek starts. I step into view, one hand cradling my belly. "So I can save him again, like I've been doing our entire marriage?" Derek startles, taking in my appearance. "Jesus, Kiara, you look pregnant?" I finish for him, exhausted, like someone whose husband is trying to destroy her career while drinking himself into oblivion. He has the decency to look ashamed. "He's sick," Derek mutters. "He needs help. And I need to protect my daughter." I descend the stairs slowly, deliberately. "Did you know he's been contacting my clients? Spreading rumors about my mental state? Using his brother-in-law to undermine me at board meetings?" Derek pales. "That's not. He wouldn't." I pull out my phone, playing the recording from the coffee shop. His voice fills the room, confirming Jake's spiral. I then show him the emails, still want to defend him. "I came here to help," he whispers. "No," I snap. "You came here to ease your guilt. You watched him self-destruct for months, helped him hide it. Now that there are consequences, you want me to clean up his mess." The baby kicks hard, making me wince. Derek instinctively reaches out, but pulls back when my mother steps between us. "I have proof of everything," I continue. "The harassment, the sabotage, the drinking. One call to HR and his career is over. Is that what you want?" "What do you want?" He counters, his question hitting harder than expected. What do I want? Revenge? Justice? Peace? My phone buzzes again. It's Rachel. The board voted. They're freezing your accounts pending an investigation into concerns about your stability. The room tilts slightly. My mother grabs my arm, steadying me. I want him to feel what I'm feeling right now, I say finally. The helplessness, the betrayal, the knowledge that someone you trusted is systematically destroying everything you've built. He'll lose everything. Derek pleads, "Good." I meet his gaze because that's exactly what he deserves. After Derek leaves, my mother helps me to the couch. You're shaking. I'm angry. I press my hands against my belly, feeling my daughter move. He's forcing my hand. If I don't act now, I'll lose everything I've worked for, my clients, my reputation. Your revenge is becoming an obsession, she observes quietly, just like his insecurity did. The words sting because they're true. I'm becoming what I hate, letting Jake's actions control my choices. Even now, my phone lights up with Jake's number. Instead of ignoring it, I answer. "Congratulations," I say before he can speak. "You've finally gotten what you wanted. I'm taking my maternity leave early, effective immediately." His breath catches. "But here's what you don't know, Jake. I'm not retreating. I'm regrouping." I stroke my belly, feeling my daughter's strength. "And when I come back, well, you might want to keep that bottle in your desk handy." I end the call, already drafting emails in my head. Jake thinks he's won this round, but he's forgotten something crucial. I've always played the long game better than him, and I'm just getting started. Labor pains feel a lot like revenge, sharp, purposeful, and ultimately worth the agony. I grip the hospital bed rails, timing my breaths between contractions, while Rachel reads from her phone. Jake's company announced major layoffs this morning. His department was hit hardest. She pauses. Derek says he cleared out his office yesterday. Another contraction hits, and I focus on the pain, letting it fuel me. Good timing. The lawsuit papers will find him at home. The nurse enters, checking monitors. Blood pressure's elevated. Try to stay calm. Calm. I want to laugh. I've spent months gathering evidence, building my case, watching Jake self-destruct while he thought I was hiding. Now, as my body prepares to deliver new life, my lawyers are delivering the final blow to his career. Rachel's phone buzzes. Derek again. He says Jake's not handling the layoff well. He's threatening to come here. He can try, my mother says, moving to the door as if preparing to guard it personally. Security has his photo. Another contraction rips through me, stronger this time. The nurse frowns at the monitor. "Baby's showing signs of distress. We need to get your pressure down." My phone lights up with Jake's number. Before anyone can stop me, I answer. "Enjoying unemployment?" My voice sounds strangled even to me. "You did this." His words slur slightly. "Somehow. You orchestrated all of it. The client losses, the internal investigation, everything. You did it to yourself." I grip the rail harder as pain builds again. "I just made sure everyone saw who you really are. I'm coming to the hospital. You can't keep my daughter from me. Watch me." The contraction peaks, and I can't hide my gasp. "Are you in labor?" His voice shifts, showing the first real emotion I've heard in months. "Kara, please, let me be there." The monitor's beeping increases. The nurse moves quickly, adjusting equipment. Baby's heart rate is dropping. "We need to prep for an emergency C-section." My mother takes the phone. "Jake, listen carefully. If you come here, I'll have you arrested. This is what you chose when you tried to destroy my daughter's life. Live with it." She ends the call as medical staff swarm the room. Through the chaos, I hear Rachel reading a text. Jake's brother-in-law just resigned from the board. Says he can't defend his actions anymore. I smile through the pain. Perfect timing. Blood pressure still rising, someone says, "We need to move now." As they wheel me towards surgery, my mother squeezes my hand. "Let it go, sweetheart. Focus on your daughter." But I can't. Even as they prep me for surgery, I'm calculating my next moves. The lawsuit. The evidence against Jake's brother-in-law. The board members who will face ethics investigations. The anesthesiologist leans over. Count backward from 10. I think about Jake, sitting alone in our empty house, career in ruins. 8. Rachel will ensure every potential employer knows about his drinking, his harassment. 7. My daughter will never know the man who chose pride over family. 6. The monitor's frantic beeping matches my racing thoughts. 5. My mother's worried face appears above me. 4. Your revenge won't keep her safe, she whispers. 3. But it will make sure Jake can never hurt us again. 2. The ceiling blurs. 1. As consciousness fades, I realize I'm crying, not from pain or fear, but because part of me knows my mother's right. I'm giving birth to my daughter with hatred in my heart instead of joy. The last thing I hear is the doctor's voice. Pressure still climbing. We need tow. Then, darkness. And a final thought. What if winning this war costs me more than I'm willing to pay? 3 weeks after Emma's birth, I stand in our old driveway, my daughter sleeping against my chest in her carrier. The house looks smaller, somehow diminished, like Jake's latest settlement offer sitting unopened in my purse. The key still works. Inside, everything's exactly as I left it, except for the empty bottles littering the coffee table. Jake's car isn't here, but Derek warned me he rarely leaves now, except for job interviews. He's too drunk to handle much else. Let's see what Daddy's been up to, I whisper to Emma, moving through rooms that feel like museum exhibits of my former life. In his home office, papers cover every surface, printouts of my emails, social media posts, news articles about the company's losses. Red marker circles names, draws connections, like a conspiracy theorist's fever dream. My phone buzzes. It's Rachel. Board meeting ended. They're reinstating your accounts. Jake's brother-in-law confessed to everything. Victory should taste sweeter than this. Emma stirs, whimpering. I bounce her gently, studying Jake's wall of obsession. That's when I spot it. A familiar manila envelope tucked under some papers. My hands shake as I pull it out. Photos. Photos of me at doctor's appointments, shopping for baby clothes, having lunch with Rachel, all dated, annotated with times and locations. He's been stalking me. Beautiful girl, isn't she? I spin around. Jake stands in the doorway, swaying slightly. His clothes hang loose, his face gaunt beneath patchy stubble. You're drunk. I step backward, shielding Emma. I had to see her. He moves closer. My daughter. The one you used to destroy me. You destroyed yourself. I gesture at his wall. Or did you? I pause. You orchestrated everything, the client losses, the complaints, the investigation. You turned everyone against me. He laughs bitterly. Family. You took that too. But I've been watching Kiara, learning your routines, waiting. My back hits the desk. The photos scatter across the floor like fallen leaves. You need help, Jake. I need my life back. His shout makes Emma wail louder. Everything I had, my career, my reputation, my home, gone because you couldn't handle not being in control. Handle not being in control. My voice rises despite myself. You tried to sabotage my career. You spread lies about my mental health. I loved you. He slams his hand on the desk, inches from where I'm standing. And you made me feel worthless every single day. Emma's screams reach fever pitch. I need to get out, but Jake blocks the only exit. Move. No. His eyes fix on Emma. She's mine too. You can't keep taking things from me. He reaches for the carrier. I react instinctively, shoving him hard. He stumbles, catching himself against the door frame. Don't you dare touch her. Or what? His smile is all wrong. You'll destroy me again. Too late, Kara. You already did that. Now we're even. Footsteps thunder up the stairs. Derek appears behind Jake, Rachel close behind. Jesus Christ, Jake. Derek grabs his arm. What are you doing? Following my wife like she followed me, watched me, ruined me. Rachel edges past them, reaching for me. Come on, we're leaving. No one's leaving. Jake tries to shake off Derek's grip. Not until. Until what? My voice sounds strange, distant. Until you scare me enough, hurt me enough, make me feel as pathetic as you do. Emma's cries has subsided to hiccuping sobs. I touch her head, feeling her soft hair against my fingers. You want to know the difference between us, Jake. I built things, a career, a life, a future for our daughter. You only know how to destroy. Hi, Ara, he whispers, and for a moment, I see the man I married. Then his face hardens again. This isn't over. Yes, it is. I walk past him, my legs surprisingly steady. You're not even worth revenge anymore. Outside, the sun feels too bright. Rachel guides me to her car while Derek stays with Jake, already calling someone, rehab maybe, or the police. In the back seat, I finally let myself shake, holding Emma close as she drifts back to sleep. My perfect revenge lies in ashes, leaving only the bitter taste of victory and the weight of my daughter against my heart. The restraining order sits on my desk like a loaded gun. One signature, and Jake legally becomes a stranger. My lawyer says it's necessary after the stalking incident, but my pen hovers uncertain. Emma sleeps in her carrier beside me while I review quarterly reports. Back at work for 2 weeks, and already the rhythm feels natural. Then my office door swings open. Jake stands there, sober and sharp in a new suit. Behind him, security guards rush forward, but he's already inside. Don't call them, he says quietly. Please, 5 minutes. I should press the panic button. Instead, I wave the guards back. 5 minutes, then I'm signing these papers. He spots the restraining order, nods like he expected it. I'm checking into rehab tomorrow. 30-day program. Good for you. I keep my voice neutral, one hand resting near Emma's carrier. I sold the house. He stays by the door, maintaining distance. Used the money to pay back what I borrowed from the company. He pulls out an envelope. I wrote letters to your clients, the board, everyone I contacted during my campaign, confessing everything. Why? Because you were right. His voice cracks. I only know how to destroy things, but I want to learn how to build instead, for her. He glances at Emma. Even if I never get to be her father, you'll always be her father, Jake. That's not something I can erase. No, but you can protect her from becoming collateral damage in my self-destruction. He sets the envelope on a chair. I'm not asking for forgiveness or another chance. I just wanted you to know I finally understand what I did to you, to us. Emma stirs, making tiny sleep noises. Jake's face crumples for a moment before he rebuilds his composure. Derek showed me the photos. I say, the ones you took while stalking me. I know. That's why I'm here. He pulls something else from his pocket, a memory card. Every photo, every note, everything I collected during that time. Destroy it. I don't want to be that person anymore. My phone buzzes. Rachel texting that security is ready to intervene. I ignore it. You know what the worst part was? I stand, needing to move. Not the sabotage or the lies. It was watching you choose your pride over our daughter. Over and over. I chose fear, he corrects. Fear of being overshadowed, of being irrelevant, of not being enough. He laughs softly. Turns out those fears were self-fulfilling. And now I'm afraid of something worse. That Emma will grow up knowing her father was a coward who tried to destroy her mother rather than face his own inadequacies. I look at the restraining order, then at Emma, then at Jake. This stranger wearing my husband's face, speaking truths instead of accusations. Your 5 minutes are up. He nods, turning to leave, then stops. The company offered me my job back after rehab. I turned it down. Why? Because sometimes he meets my eyes for the first time. You have to lose everything to understand what you should have valued in the first place. The memory card sits on my desk where he left it. Next to it, the restraining order waits for my signature. Tools of destruction and protection, revenge and redemption. Jake. He pauses at the door. When you finish rehab, if you're serious about building things. I touch Emma's cheek. She'll need a father who knows how to do that. I don't deserve. This isn't about what you deserve. It's about what she deserves. I pick up the restraining order. I'll hold on to this as insurance, but I won't file it yet. He nods, understanding the weight of this small mercy. Thank you. After he leaves, I open my desk drawer, dropping the memory card inside. Evidence of who we were, preserved, but not defining who we might become. Emma awakes, demanding attention. As I lift her, my revenge fantasy finally crumbles completely, replaced by something harder, but more necessary. The slow, careful work of building a future from the ashes of our past. The unsigned restraining order sits in my bottom drawer like a loaded gun I never fired. Emma plays on the office floor, stacking wooden blocks while I review quarterly projections. Her dark hair falls in her eyes, Jake's eyes, as she concentrates on her tower. My phone buzzes. Derek's text reads, Jake completed the program, asked me to tell you. I set the phone down, watching Emma knock over her creation with a delighted squeal. She's already rebuilding, placing each block with careful determination. Rachel appears in my doorway, holding a familiar manila envelope. This came for you, hand-delivered. Inside, I find a single sheet of paper, Jake's resignation letter from his new job in Seattle. At the bottom, he's written, some distances aren't measured in miles. You okay? Rachel asks. Better than okay. I file the letter with the restraining order. I'm done measuring distances. The intercom buzzes. Miss Thompson, your 3 o'clock is here. Send them in. I scoop Emma up, settling her on my hip, ready to meet Mommy's new client. She babbles something that might be client, or might be climb. These days, everything's a mountain to scale. The door opens. Jake stands there, clean-shaven in a charcoal suit, holding a presentation folder. Thompson Consulting, he says quietly. Independent contractor, if you'll have me. Emma reaches for him instinctively. I don't stop her. The Seattle job I began wasn't what I needed to build. He accepts Emma's weight, his professional demeanor cracking as she pats his face. I had a good teacher about rebuilding things. I gesture to the visitor's chair, noting how he arranges Emma on his lap, protecting her from the edge of my desk. Some instincts run deeper than our mistakes. Why consulting? Because I finally learned what you knew all along. Success isn't about power. It's about creating something sustainable. He opens his folder. I've got references, a business plan, even some potential clients who need help restructuring. Stop. I hold up a hand. This isn't a job interview. His face falls, but he nods. I understand. I just thought it was a partnership negotiation. I pull out a contract draft I'd prepared weeks ago, watching his expression shift. 60/40 split, separate accounts, clear boundaries. You knew I'd come back. I knew you'd either rebuild or self-destruct. The choice was always yours. Emma squirms off his lap, returning to her blocks. We both watch as she starts a new tower, this one more ambitious than the last. I can't undo what I did, Jake says. No, but you can build something new if you're ready to do the work. He studies the contract, then looks at our daughter. Some things are worth building slowly. I think about revenge, about justice, about the fine line between protecting what matters and destroying what threatens us. The unsigned restraining order whispers from its drawer, but its voice grows fainter each day. Sign it, I say, pushing the contract forward. Not because you deserve it, but because Emma deserves to see that broken things can be rebuilt. Better, stronger, different. As Jake reaches for the pen, Emma's tower collapses again. Instead of crying, she laughs, already gathering blocks for another attempt. Like mother, like daughter, Jake murmurs. No, I correct him, watching Emma work like herself. That's all she needs to be. He signs the contract, his hands steady. Rachel looks at me curiously through the glass outside my office. I give one nod. She takes my silent message with her smile and turns away. Retaliation isn't always about killing your adversaries. Building something they can't destroy is sometimes the goal. Emma extends a block in her tiny hands and offers it to us both. It appears more like a foundation stone than a weapon. Together, Jake and I reach for it, our fingers briefly touching as we support our daughter in beginning again, not with forgiveness, since that is still a long way off, but with something more fundamental, the knowledge that some things are worthwhile, even if we have to rebuild from the ashes of what we destroyed.